like a bird on a tree. I'm just sitting here, I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together, it's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell.
Who is a librarian and co-chair of the planning committee for this function, to bless the proceedings. Ms. Adler?
God, recognize that you are our Father, a gracious and merciful God. And today we give you thanks for your mercies, which are renewed, for that we can meet together as a community, as a family, to celebrate the work that has been done over the last year, to celebrate our intellectual minds of the university, the authors and their families. Lord, as we gather, we pray that you will help us as an educational institution to grow from strength to strength, that our leaders will be filled with knowledge, with wisdom to lead, and to lead with excellence. That we will take our place in the world. Yes, this is a UWI. This is a beacon. This is a place to go. And so let's commit these proceedings to you and just ask that all that we do will be done in the honor and the glory to your Son, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Thank you so much, Ms. Adler. Now we're going to take a little break from the program that you see in front of you and welcome the Minister of Education and Youth, the Honorable Favor Williams. She is at the moment breaking from a cabinet meeting to join us this afternoon. So we're going to ask her to bring greetings.
Thank you so much. Hearing me? Are you hearing me?
Yes, we are, Minister.
Okay, wonderful. I am so very sorry I'm not there with you in the face-to-face environment. As was said earlier, today's Cabinet Day, and I just took some time out to be with you in the virtual space. So let me begin by acknowledging Professor Dale Weber, UWI Pro Vice Chancellor and UWI Mona Principal, Mrs. Jessica Lewis Marshall, Campus Librarian, and members of the senior management team of the UWI Mona Library, members of staff from the Office of the Principal, distinguished guests, authors, students, good afternoon. Thank you for inviting me to share in this signature event of the UWI's Library Open Week, 7th staging of Celebration of Books and Exhibition. I'm particularly pleased to see the range of publications that highlight the research and publishing output of the UWI Mona campus for the past academic year. This year's exhibition will no doubt help to reinforce the point that academic work is not an end in itself, but provides the foundation and the channels through which we can better understand our societies and develop the policies to address current and emerging problems. It was professor and director of the School of Library and Information Science at the University of South Carolina, Mr. Lankes, who said, "Bad libraries build collections, good libraries build services, great libraries build communities." Your theme, Libraries Adapting to the Future, a call to action, and the publications of the past year support the idea that libraries can be great channels through which to build communities. Your theme also challenges us to look at technological integration in society and how we might build communities. For many of us, it seems we passed the stage where technological integration was a threat to our comfort zones. However, perhaps because of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've been thrust into a new dispensation where there are even more tools than we ever imagined to help with teaching and learning and for personal use. There's no question that libraries play a major role in demonstrating, and dare I say, leading the blend of technology into our communities. We cannot afford to be left behind in the technological advancements of this age, because we would then risk failing to reach our people. Amid rapid technological changes over the past few decades, academic libraries have been striving hard to remain relevant in their operations by providing transformative products and services and adopting best practices in service delivery. University libraries in this age are being challenged to meet the needs of a contemporary and pluralistic society with some sort of agility. This means that library managers are being challenged not only to examine the content made available to their clients, but also how these are being provided. No doubt this week will enable all of us to have a better appreciation of the range of services you provide, as well as the excellent publications available for research and general study. I therefore would like to thank the UWI Library for making an example of technological integration in libraries, and I also want to extend congratulations to campus librarian, Mrs. Jessica Lewis Marshall, and the team at the UWI Library Mona campus for the continued enabling of national and regional development through the creation and support of a knowledge-based society and providing access to information. Thank you. God bless you.
And we're very happy that you were able to join us. Very happy. All right, so good afternoon. How everybody? Everybody good?
Yes.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. I sound enthusiastic because I am very happy to see all these persons live. So let me start by welcoming or welcome from the library, Professor Dale McGaw, our Pro-Vice Chancellor, Principal of the Mona Campus. Welcome, sir. Our guest speaker, Professor Kathleen Monteith. Welcome, ma'am. All those wonderful writers, all those wonderful authors whose books we're celebrating today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Our Open Week sees the library as a type opening itself to you all, highlighting our many services and resources, all designed for your benefit. So during this week, the events we have planned include, now tomorrow we have the Library and Information Services Conference, the theme of which is "That was then, this is now." Libraries Adapting for the Future. Now this will begin at 8:30 a.m. On the 26th, the Wednesday, we have Resetting the TISC, this IP Help Desk, a call to action. This will begin at 9 a.m. And on the 27th, Thursday, we will have the e-resources fair, advancing 24/7 access to the UWI Mona Library, which will begin at 9 a.m. All of which you can register for by visiting our link guide or our library website and registering. Now, as I mentioned in the beginning, we're also launching a celebration of books, where the library honors those members of our faculty, staff, and retirees who are published between 2021 and 2022. As a library, we are very happy to present to you this abundance of literature covering a diversity of subjects, which will, I think, attract the attention and interest of many members of our audience here and online. So as we begin, I'm going to ask our acting campus librarian, Mrs. Jessica Marshall, to officially welcome you all to our event.
Good morning, colleagues. Good afternoon. Vice Chancellor, Honorable Favor Williams, Minister of Education, Youth and Information, Dr. Monteith, keynote speaker, Mona Library Committee Chair, celebrated authors, staff, and distinguished guests. I am extremely delighted to welcome you on behalf of the UWI Mona. This afternoon sees us accomplishing our 7th year of Open Week, and that is no easy task. Open Week actually started in 2015, and the challenges that we have faced in the past 2 years on the changing needs of our community. We tried to meet the needs of our users by stretching ourselves and offering novel services. We've been adapting to this new environment of users who have aggressive expectations and demands. And we've been trying to find fresh and innovative ways for the library to meet those needs. Understand that we need to fully embrace our role as an ally in this academic and we also need to be partners in research and collaboration with the faculty and the UWI community. We're extremely pleased to be offering today's events in person, as the last few events have been virtual, and we will be streaming live on MonaMedia. And as has been said before, today's event showcases our very own Mona authors. Please make sure to view our in-person exhibition, which will be showing in the catalog, as well as the online catalog. Just echo Ms. Lindsay's sentiments in saying that we hope that you engage and dialogue with us throughout the week. We have several upcoming events, and we really hope that you will join in with us for the rest of the week. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mrs. Franco. Next, we ask Professor Weber, please meetings.
Thank you very much, Ms. Lindsay. The Honorable Favor Williams, who took time out of cabinet. And I'll tell you, she's at cabinet working for us. Because she's still online, by the way. I have 2 submissions at cabinet today, which will change the campus significantly. So I'm depending on you, Minister, to do your thing. But I'm going to come to that because the library is at the center of that. Professor Kathleen Monteith, Chair of the UWI Mona Library Committee, and Professor of History, Faculty of Humanities and Education, and could I go on with all the other titles? No, she says stop, she will do it. Mrs. Jessica Marshall, Acting Campus Librarian, who accepted the acting portfolio. I have to get it down before we go on now. Without too much hand twisting. Writers, authors, students, staff, colleagues, good afternoon to you all. I'm pleased to be here to be a part of this week. And I do say the week because there are a number of days, and I realize there's something every day as Lindsay comes forward. Libraries adapted to the future, a call for action. This is clearly the mantra of what this library has been able to do. Libraries are at the center of the University of the West Indies, as they should be at the center of all academic institutions. Because whether you are visiting, whether you are a resident, you are all here as part of the learning environment. Some of us contribute to the learning, some of us take away from the learning, but we're all here making our education move. The Library Open Week and Celebration of Books showcases a range of books. And I'm so pleased. I paused when I looked at the list and I did a double take when I walked along and looked at all those books. You know why? As principal of this campus, it makes me extremely proud to see the publication that comes from our colleagues. Why? One, because it means that you are writing. It means that you are, notwithstanding the COVID issues, because remember, this is 2022, 2021 publications. So COVID did not hold you back. So one, you are writing and you are doing what you do best. But two, I happen to sit at a committee that I chair called the Appointments Committee. And when I see names there, I go, yes, I know what's going to happen at the next meeting of Appointments Committee, because some of our colleagues are up for crossing merit bars and senior lecturer. There are 2 books there for persons who are out for professor. There are 2, in fact, I see one that just got her professorship last week. So I'm really, really pleased, because for me, this is the manifestation of what you do. The library is at the center of what we do in terms of the Mona campus. And I'll tell you that the commitment of the campus management to the library is unwavering. Not just because we were asked, told, beseeched by UCJ or by our other colleagues that we needed to do something about it. But the library ended up being at the top of the senior management list in terms of where we needed to spend the little money we had and a lot of the time that we had. We did decide that EMB, because we don't maintain what we do, MITS, because we all went online and we needed to stay there, and the library, because it is the source of all that we want our students and staff to embrace as the academic realm grows. Those entities were all going to receive 3% additional on whatever we spent last year. So we just closed our eye, scoop up, and spent that. And I hope that over the next couple of weeks, you will see the manifestation, because many things have been ordered, which we hope the library will be able to use as a part of the teaching and learning exercise. As we look towards the future, with digital transformation at the heart of it, the library clearly has done a lot and has offered itself in many different ways. This week is going to be an expression of that. Not just because there are physical books here, but because you can now get them in various formats, and you can also engage in what they have to offer this week. I'm particularly interested, and I will return on Wednesday, because what we do in terms of the technology and innovation support is critical. We keep talking about what we can do with our intellectual property, and whether it is JIPO or WIPO, we are going to find a way to take advantage of what we write, what we earn, and what we learn. Finally, as I look to the outcome of the activities from this week, I try the library to be an everlasting institution, one where continuity is important, one where you keep the records, you keep diligent views on what is here. You preserve the books, you preserve the writing, you preserve the reading, you preserve the opportunity, but most of all, you promote the knowledge. Congratulations to the library, and I look forward to the rest of the week.
Thank you, Professor Wong. Thank you for the encouragement, and thanks for the challenge. I can say with confidence that we will try to step up to the challenge. We will step up to the challenge. We are here. So next, I invite Ms. Rosemary Muncy, head of the cataloging section, to introduce our guest speaker.
Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for the library open week. Celebration of Books launch. Professor Monty is Professor of Caribbean History in the Department. Special interest in Caribbean business history. She gained her BA and the UWI in 1986 and 1990 respectively, and her PhD in 1997. A former head of department for 2 consecutive terms, chair of the UWI Library Committee. So there is our connection. On awards, Plantation Coffee in Jamaica, 1790-1848, published in 2019. Cited for a finalist award in the Historical Nonfiction category of the 2020 Next Generation Indie Book Award. West Indian Business History, Enterprise, and Entrepreneurship, which he co-edited with Professor Barry Hickman, was awarded the Chancellor's Award in 2013, and Depression to Decolonization, Barclays Bank, DCU in the West Indies. Was a recipient of a Principal's Award for Best Publication in the Faculty of Human 28 to 29.
Thank you very much, Ms. Minister, for that introduction. Acknowledge, I believe, still online, the Honorable Minister of Education, Mrs. Taylor, the Principal and Pro-Vice Chancellor of the Mr. Lewis Marshall, Ms. Yolanda Lindsay, authors, and other attendees, staff in the I am thanking the staff of the University of the West Indies Library for organizing another Library Open Week. And by extension, celebration of authors and exhibition. This tells us that the library staff are very much aware of the role and of a university library, and this is what my brief remarks will dwell on within the context of the theme for this week, adapting to the future, call to action. I'd just like to pause to acknowledge Mrs. Frances John Aarons, also former archivist here, as well as head of the National Library of Jamaica. In 2023, the University of the West Indies will celebrate with this campus being the founding campus. Integral to its establishment and mission, role and function of this library, which was also established in the same year that the university was. University libraries have a unique role compared with that of public libraries and national libraries because they exist specifically to support a tertiary level education and research. So the university library has a myriad of roles. Access to knowledge resources and materials, and the provision of referrals. They also include the dissemination and distribution of information and knowledge stored in documents to stakeholders in education, serving as gateways to the collection of global libraries, as well as supporting formal self-education and learning. So for all of these reasons, university libraries are integral to the life of a university whose core functions are teaching and conducting original research to create new knowledge, enhance existing knowledge, and in so doing, contribute to the economic and social development of a society. Not just the local and regional society, but also national society as a whole. This means that a university library must be a multifunctional information provider. It must be student-centered, encouraging students to play a dynamic and creative role in reading and research, and it must provide maximum information and services to foster and support a dynamic research and publication culture. To do so, it must be well stocked with the right material, well organized, and be well managed with a dynamic, forward-thinking, professional library staff. Inferred here is that there is a symbiotic relationship between faculty and the university librarian. Both, to a degree, rely on each other for their work. Indeed, the quality of it is greatly linked between the two. The information, sometimes suggested by faculty and sourced and disseminated by the librarian, determines the quality of the teaching and learning process in the university. The librarian then must see to it that modern organizational systems are in place, ease of identification and retrieval of the desired information as quickly as possible, and save the time of users, providing the right information to the right user at the right time in the right form. In this regard, the University of West Indies Library years. Today, the University of West Indies can boast of being the top-ranked university in the Caribbean, among the top 1% in Latin America, and among the 1.5% in the world, because among other indices, has a library system among its campuses, well stocked, properly organized, and administered by competent and dedicated professional staff. And this has been maintained in spite of serious limitations over the last 75 years, and particularly the UWI library system, and in particular, the Mona campus library has embraced adaptability over the years and have kept the future in mind while rooted in the present. That adaptability has included the recognition of changed times and circumstances, one of which includes the changed profile of the average UWI undergraduate student today, unnecessarily match those of their predecessors. As a whole, more 30. There are a significant number of students hold full jobs or run their own businesses, have children to maintain, and support themselves living on their own. In decades past, this was not the typical UWI undergraduate. Other substantive changes include the enormous growth of information, particularly in the 21st century, through access to information through a variety of communication, advancement of technology, as well as an awareness among the public of unrestricted opportunities, all of which have exerted greater demands on the educational system. It is here that the libraries, being reservoirs of knowledge existing in a variety of forms, must continue a vital role. Because libraries are not merely storehouses of books and other reading material collected for preservation, but function as dynamic instruments of education, feeding the intellect of the student and encouraging researchers, they must rise to the challenge of providing the facilities necessary for mastering the subject of work. This is even more so needed given the present day of information explosion, technological revolution, and the days of dramatic shifts in the socio-economic circumstances of the times. These changes also call for a change in teaching skills and techniques, curricular design and implementation, which in turn has further increased the need for supplementary reading resources and call upon increased adaptability of the library in its role and function. Lecturers cannot be effective teachers unless they draw extensively from a variety of information sources, keep themselves up to date in their field of specialization. Not just teaching and learning, but also for research and publication. In this regard, I challenge the UWI and the library to expand its holdings of non-traditional source material, such as documentaries pertaining to environmental and ecological science and habitat, cultural activities in their many forms, posters, programs, podcasts, and to build a photographic collection pertaining. I'm also challenging the library to introduce a program of outreach to actively encourage research of primary source content goals, partner with faculties across this campus, and to hold what I term research possibilities session. Students to bring to their attention specific primary source materials and its holdings. I also implore authors to make sure that due acknowledgement of the librarians who assisted with their research and to make sure that in the bibliography of your work, the University of the West Library is cited as an organization from various as international recognition and visibility of the library, but also that of the UWI itself, stating very clearly that this is a center for the area of specialization. In 2017, the inaugural year of the celebration of books, some 29 books and their authors were featured. This year, the number is significantly less, with 15 authors and their 16 publications being featured. A number of factors may account for this decline, one of which must be which hindered their ability to do any serious research between 2021. Nevertheless, there are 50 authors being celebrated this afternoon with publications that cover the fields of sociology, law, education, literature, regional and international trade policy, archival management, marketing, and of course history, all of which were published or recruited between 20. All testify to the as a key partner, contributor, and facilitator in the context success of the Mona campus. They are tangible examples of the value of the library's resources and provided by a professional and dedicated staff. It is fitting that this celebration of books exhibit occurs in the month of October, as October is Heritage Month in the national calendar. The work of the library involves the safeguarding of our heritage, and books are part of our heritage. They continue to exist beyond the time in which they so do provide insight into the concerns, congratulations to all the owners, congratulations to the university.
Putting forth the importance of primary resources and somebody who used to be an audiovisual librarian, work with non-traditional resources, it pleases my your experience and knowledge. Put forward the importance of these kinds of resources. Thank you so much. And appreciation, I would like to present you with a gift to say thank you for such a good speech and for agreeing to do the speech here. Everyone will be presenting this gift.
Of the UWI MonaLibrary and the authors as well. I would
All right, so you may have noticed that I skipped something in the program. Very might eagerness to hear Professor Monteith. It was a good speech, you agree? Yes. So now we welcome Ms. Rochelle Daly, who will gift us with a song.
Good afternoon, everyone. Trying to hold my breath, instead of dreaming, getting loud. Take my hand, share this with you. Shine a thousand spotlights, all the stars we steal from the night sky will be enough. Never too little. These hands could hold the world. Be enough. Never be enough. For me. house in spotlights. All steal from the night sky. And now, the towers of gold are still too little. This be enough, never be enough. For me, for me.
So every year we do this, and every year we invite somebody. So I say the same thing, and I'll say next year if I'm married. And we have some of the best time here at the university because it's really the student here at the university. So thank you again. Books are the quietest and most constant thread of friends. They're the most accessible and wisest of counselors and the most patient of teachers. Out of WFA. The following writers are being honored this year as part of our 7th annual celebration of books. Dr. Opal Palmer Adisa, 100 plus voices for Miss Lou. Poetry, tributes, interviews, essays. Also, the storyteller's return. Dr. Dave Goss, Alexander Benwood, the prophet of Augustine, race, religion, and colonialism. Mr. John Aarons, Professor Jeanette A. Bastion, and Dr. Stanley Griffin, Archiving Caribbean Identity, Records, Community, and Memory. Dr. Doreen Gordon, Blackness and Social Mobility in Brazil, Contemporary Transformations. Gilbert Kodilinian, and Dr. Natalie Cortese, Commonwealth Tort Law. Dr. Trevor Alexander Smith, Compulsive Buying, Consumer Traits, Self-Regulation, and Marketing Ethics. Dr. Ramona Bipolar and Dr. Dacia L. Leslie, Critical Caribbean Perspective, Preventing Gender-Based Violence. Dr. Lorna Down and Dr. Therese Ferguson, Education for Sustainable Development, Pedagogy, Processes, and Practices. Professor Emeritus John Bewaji and Dr. Motini Mosulu. Nigeria, Social, Political, and Economic Crisis. Ms. Tracy Robinson, Fundamentals of Caribbean Constitutional Law. Ambassador Dr. Richard L. Bernal, OG. Globalization, Trade, and Economic Development, the CARIFORUM EU Economic Partnership Agreement. Professor Sir Hilary Beckles, for Britain Underdeveloped the Caribbean, a reparation response to Europe's legacy of plunder and poverty. Professor Vereen Shepherd and Ms. Gabrielle D.L. Hemmings, Introduction to Reparation for Secondary Schools. E.W. Hickman, Jamaican Food, History, Biology, Culture. Miss Charlene Harris, through the eyes of Charlene Harris. Again, we congratulate all of us on the wonderful achievement. And please visit our exhibition, which after today will be on show in our Catalonia Hall outside, outside Turn 11. There's big place with all old draws that we're going to take care of. But museum quality stuff can be done. Okay. Now next, we have recorded video presentations by All right, we're having a little technical difficulty, but we'll try to get it back up. In the meantime, we'll ask Ms. Rochelle Daly to sing for us again.
And again. You know how I feel. The flies are having fun. That's what I mean, and this whole world. When you shine, you feel sense of the pine. You know how I feel. Freedom is a mine. It's a new dawn, it's a new feels you.
Thank you again, very nice. All right. I'm going to ask Dr. Natalie Percy, will be joining us on Zoom. Please. Bring a response by the authors. Is Dr. Percy? Dr. Percy, you may be muted.
Greetings everyone, I am Stanley Sun. I am pleased to represent the National Parents in presenting Archiving Caribbean Identity, Records, Community and Memory, which we had the privilege to co-edit. This volume of 15 chapters were originally presentations at the 2019 symposium at the Mona campus of the University of the West Indies. It continues our efforts initiated in our 2018 Decolonizing the Caribbean Record and Archives reader to move Caribbean archives away from its colonial beginnings and towards a definition that reflects the dynamic cultural life and lived experiences of the region. Although these chapters focus primarily on the English-speaking Caribbean, post-colonial and decolonial concerns about archival representations plague the entire region. The legacies of colonialism and colonial record creating and keeping have presented archival challenges for formerly colonized territories, especially in the Caribbean. However, Archiving Caribbean Identity demonstrates how non-textual cultural traces validly function as archival records and how folk-centered perspectives disrupt conventional understandings of records. Thank you.
The book, The Prophet of Augusttown, Race, Religion and Colonialism, is a significant book because in that book, I try to revisit the argument, the narrative that Alexander Bedford was a madman, right? I am refuting that claim and making the point that he is one of Jamaica's most significant prophets, which must be respected. Here is a gentleman who led a movement, a national movement, an international movement, which lasted from the 1890s to 1930s. So nearly 40 years of resistance and his movement. And so he's seen then as a significant anti-colonial champion, bridging the gap between Paul Bogle of the 1860s to Marcus Garvey in the 1930s. His followers were ones who now continued the other black religious movement like Garvey's, the man later Rastafari. So this man is a bridge builder. Therefore then we must have respect for him. And this book is about him and his movement.
Hello everyone, my name is Doreen Gordon and I'm a lecturer at the University of the West Indies, Mona campus. I research issues of race, social inequality and social justice in Africa and the African diaspora. Today I'm here to tell you a little bit more about my new book, Blackness and Social Mobility in Brazil, Contemporary Transformations. This book is based on ethnographic research that I carried out with Afro-Brazilian families in the city of Salvador in northeastern Brazil. In recent years, researchers have seen the entrance of Afro-Brazilians into middle-income jobs such as teaching, white-collar work, and professional occupations such as medicine, engineering, and law. This book is about this segment of the population. Now, why should this be of concern to any of us? Well, firstly, Brazil is home to the largest population of African descendants in this hemisphere. So in terms of sheer numbers, we should know more about the Black experience in Latin America, how people confront racism, and in their daily lives and struggles.
Greetings everybody. I'm very happy to introduce the book Critical Caribbean Perspectives on Preventing Gender-Based Violence, co-edited by my colleague Dacia Leslie, Research Fellow at Salises, and myself, Ramona Biholar, Senior Lecturer in the Faculty of Law on Mona campus. Gender-based violence immediately brings to mind the issue of violence against women. While the book covers this type of violence, it also explores women as perpetrators, men and boys as victims, and gender-based violence against young persons. This also discusses ways in which gender-based violence can further marginalize already marginalized groups, such as members of the LGBT community or persons with disabilities. Importantly, book chapters address gender-based violence as it manifests in contemporary times, but also discuss how the violence inflicted during the Caribbean history of enslavement and colonialism was also gender-based.
Hi everyone, I believe Ramona has said it all. For sure, this rich collection will be of interest to researchers, practitioners, students working on issues related to GBV and gender in general. Persons who are in the fields of criminology, human rights, feminist studies, development studies, or persons undertaking research focused on the Caribbean region and the social inclusion of persons with disabilities will also find the collection useful.
Situated within the Caribbean context, our text, Education for Sustainable Development in the Caribbean, Pedagogy, Processes and Practices, offers a unique perspective on educational approaches for creating a sustainable world. Our theoretical discussions are complemented by practical, real-world engagements. Case studies and recent research ground the issues we share surrounding teaching and learning for sustainability. Diverse communities of learners inside and outside of classrooms are thus enabled to transform their societies.
In exploring and critically examining educational approaches to revisioning and transforming humanity's relationships with self, others, and the environment, our text distills what it means to educate for sustainability, to educate for the care and respect for all of life. We know that you will find Education for Sustainable Development in the Caribbean, pedagogy, processes, and practices useful and inspiring.
Richard Bernal, Professor of Practice, Sir Arthur Lewis Institute, University of the West Indies. The title of my book is Globalization, Trade and Economic Development, the CARIFORUM EU Economic Partnership Agreement. The book consists of 8 chapters. The first chapter looks at the global setting in which the negotiations for a partnership agreement emerged. This is followed by an analysis and explanation of the structure and process of the negotiations which led to the agreement. In chapter 3, we look at the regional cooperation in the form of the regional negotiating machinery, which conducted the negotiations on behalf of CARIFORUM, which is CARICOM and the Dominican Republic. And finally, the book looks at what I call strategic global repositioning. In adjusting to the demands of the Economic Partnership Agreement and meeting the objectives, the economies of the Caribbean are actually adjusting to a wider global process. And the process of doing that I call strategic global repositioning.
Published in 2021, How Britain Underdeveloped the Caribbean, a reparation response to Europe's legacy of plunder and poverty by Vice-Chancellor Hilary MacD Beckles, is available via the University of the West Indies Press. Vice-Chancellor Hilary Beckles shares in the epilogue that this work is a sequel to Britain's Black Debt. The global Black Lives Matter movement has endorsed this reparations claim and approach. There is no escaping the demands of this moment. For 200 years, the Caribbean has been calling for this conversation. Britain, the nation of no, must become a community of yes, we will.
In Fragmented Identities of Nigeria, Socio-Political and Economic Crisis, edited by John Isholapewaji and Rotimi Omoshulu, readers are offered essays that explore the historiogenesis and ontological struggles of Nigeria as a geographical expression and political experiment of Britain. Contributions from authors analyze why Nigeria is a good example of global identity crisis. The book suggests that it is time for Nigeria to reassess, re-examine, and renegotiate its future.
Caribbean constitutional law grew out of our teaching in constitutional law across the UWI, and also our many trans-Caribbean conversations and debates about constitutional law. My co-authors are fellow constitutional law teacher at the St. Augustine campus, Dr. Arif Bulkan, who is now sitting as a judge of the Belize Court of Appeal, and the Honorable Mr. Justice Adrian Saunders, who is the President of the Caribbean Court of Justice. The book deals with key principles of constitutional law, such as the supremacy of the Constitution in the independent states, judicial review, the rule of law, separation of powers, judicial independence, and the protection of fundamental rights. It covers controversial questions such as the interpretation of savings law clauses and when can a constitutional amendment be unconstitutional.
Greetings, I am Kelly Gardner, Marketing Officer at the University of the West Indies Press, and I am delighted to introduce Introduction to Reparation for Secondary Schools by Vereen A. Shepherd and Gabriel D. L. Hemmings. The authors share in the preface and acknowledgement that this book will help secondary school students, in particular CAPE level history students, to understand the meaning of reparation, the reason Caribbean governments and people believe it is a just cause, the long history of the movement, the objectives of the movement, and the forms that reparation should take, including repatriation to Africa for those who desire it. Above all, students will be introduced to the idea that reparation is a right and not an act of begging. First published as a hardcover in 2008, Jamaican Food, History, Biology, and Culture by B.W. Hickman has been republished as a paperback and is available via the University of the West Indies Press. Professor Hickman shares in the preface that he chose to write this book rather than a cookbook because he is interested in trying to understand why Jamaicans eat what they eat, how they define Jamaican food, and how their choices have changed over time. These are important questions to provide insight into the social, cultural, agricultural, economic, and political history of Jamaica.
Life is a journey. It does not come with a manual or a unique book tailored for each individual based on the circumstances they face. As a result, internal and external factors will influence one's ability to survive in a world of unforeseen events. The poems displayed through the eyes of Charlene Harris are years of tears, memories, and lessons learned. Though some poems are written based on people's experiences, many were inspired by persons who have made a significant impact, whether positively or negatively, directly or indirectly. So the purpose of this book is to create an awareness about the power of poetry to touch lives, express emotions, inspire and rejuvenate hearts and souls through expressive writing. Through the Eyes of Charlene Harris is available in two formats, the Kindle version and also the hardcover version.
Hello, I am Professor Opal Palmer Adisa, and I'm delighted to introduce you to 100 Plus Voices for Miss Lou, a collection of poetry, tributes, interviews, and essays. It is divided into 4 sections. It starts off with an introduction, an introductory section, with essays by the former poet laureate Lorna Goodison, Minister Oliver Grange, and the former Prime Minister P.J. Patterson, as well as an essay by myself. Then we have One Big Family, and that's the section of people who knew her, people her family like Fabian Coverley, and other people who knew her well, Mervyn Morris, Easton Lee, Marjorie Wiley. Then we go into the section which is called Affirming Our Culture, and that's by poets who have been influenced by her, and more in that section in Auntie Ochi said. And section 4, which is the final section, ends with Engaging in a Quarrel with History, which are essays by people like Carolyn Cooper, Delia Bean, Azadana Weir Soli, who is looking at Miss Lou's work and offering analysis for its scholarly and academic pertinence. Thank you so much. Enjoy 100 Plus Voices for Miss Lou, edited by me, Professor Opal Palmer Adisa.
Level of our intellectual output from this university. We can only be proud of ourselves here. So, on to Dr. Natalie Percy, who will be responding on behalf of the authors. Dr. Percy?
of books. All protocols observed. I would just say perhaps a special thanks to the Honorable Minister, the Principal, Dr. Colin Carr, and Acting Campus Librarian Jessica Lewis Marshall, and the entire team that worked tirelessly, I know, to put together what has been a very enjoyable, well-organized, and so far successful celebration of books. I wanted, if I could, to highlight perhaps some of the nuggets that were shared today. I was particularly marked by the comments from the minister when she stated that it was notable that the technology has allowed the library to be so much more effective to all its users and stakeholders. The role of technology in providing access in particular. And I note that the library has in store for us a very special activity on Thursday of this week, October 27, an e-resources fair for staff and students, which will explain the latest features of e-access to library sources and materials, and how to use online resources like EBSCO, Web Science, LexisNexis, and so on. The other notable thing that she mentioned was about the variety of books being celebrated. I think we heard this from other contributors as well. Variety in themes, varieties in disciplines, and I would dare say what is perhaps referred to as diversity. We welcome our authors from all spaces, gender, and places. Perhaps the other thing that she mentioned, which resonated with me fully, was her comment on the role of libraries in building communities. And I want to say that the UWI Mona Library has certainly been the focal point of the UWI Mona campus's community, and in a very personal way, very much a center of activity for me way back when I was a student and beyond. And so I want to, at this time, highlight perhaps two very important points that the principal added. He added that despite COVID, there has been a tremendous output coming from colleagues. And I think that it has really offered us an opportunity to rethink ourselves, not purely as academics, not purely as writers, but certainly as important players in the community, in building the community, and in, of course, telling our own stories. And so the expression he used was about how these books made very, very much a significant contribution to the academy. And I would dare say that beyond the academy, the writing of books and this particular selection of the 15 books that we have heard about today are very much about legacy building from within, legacy building from without. And by that, I mean that for each and every one of the authors that we have heard from today, they're building their own personal and professional legacy that will go on to benefit their children and their children's children. For those of us who know anything about intellectual property, we're not just contributing to the academy by way of content, we're also contributing to a very personal legacy of intellectual property. And so it is a building within as well as a building without. And certainly I want to encourage everyone present, everyone online, to buy the books, right? We're happy to celebrate them. We're happy to share them. But best of all is when the books are bought, when the books are used in teaching, then the library becomes a living space. So please buy the books. And along that line, I wanted to mention also another very interesting event coming up with the library is the TISC event, the Technology and Innovation Support Center, on Wednesday, so in 2 days' time, Wednesday, 26th of October, starting at 9, there will be
another very special event being charted by the library, looking at IP and the role of the library in facilitating access to some very information related to intellectual property. So again, on behalf of all the authors, I wish to thank our campus librarian, her fantastic team that has put together this celebration of books for years now running, for the support, for the encouragement, and for the visibility that this occasion offers our work. We thank you.
Before we
She's on sabbatical, so she wasn't able to join us in person, but she took some time out to join us in our celebration today. So, for closing remarks, I'm going to ask our acting campus librarian, Mrs. Grace Marshall, to give the closing remarks.
Thank you so much, Ms. Lindsay. A dynamic instrument of education, Professor Monteith, and I hope that our proceedings today has kind of shown how dynamic the library can be and how we can revamp ourselves and get integrated into community. So in closing, Professor Pro Vice Chancellor and Principal of the Mona Campus, Professor Weber, the Honorable Favor Williams, Minister of Education, Youth and Education, Dr. Monteith, keynote speaker, celebrated authors, and our distinguished guests, we have come to the end of the 7th staging of our launch and the celebration of books. I think that this afternoon's event shows us that Caribbean creative energy can blossom even in a pandemic. So I want to close and encourage you to look at the exhibition, to go online and look at our virtual catalog, and we look forward to the rest of the events of the week, which are going to be extremely stimulating. On behalf of the Mona Library team, I want to express our gratitude to all of our guests and speakers, and to thank you for your contributions to the program. Professor Monteith, we have taken the challenge that you've given us, and I have noted research possibilities, and I will be speaking with the West Indies and Special Collections team. Miss Rochelle Daly, thank you so much for your contributions. Those were 2 beautiful items. Our gratitude and appreciation to our authors who have answered the call and allowed their works to be featured and celebrated in this event. And thank you to our audience who have joined us. This afternoon's live stream would not be possible without the assistance of the MISS team. And last but not least, the library staff team led by Ms. Sadler and Ms. Lawrence, and the various units that have contributed to making today a success. We thank you for your work and your tireless contribution. Thank you, and good afternoon.
So before we close off for today, just one more thing. We would like to make a presentation. This is Ms. Karine Lawrence. She is the chair of our planning committee. She's going to make the presentation.
Good afternoon. It was actually our intention to present a symbolic gift to Dr. Courtesy, but she wasn't able to be here physically. So I'm asking Ms. Charlene Harris if she would come. We have one for each of our authors. So, Ms. Harris, congratulations on your publication. All the best.
And that is it. So before I leave, I just have one more thing to say to you. So as we end, I just want to leave this with you all. When trouble strikes, head to the library.
You will either be able to solve the problem that you have or simply have something to read as the world crashes around you. Look, you can't lose either way, you can't. So enjoy the rest of the week and please attend our events. As I said, you can register online at our website and make sure to view our exhibition. It will be online and in the cataloging hall. Also, we have evaluation forms we'd like you to sign. Those of you who are online, you can access it online and we have them physically here. Thank you again. Thank you for joining us. Hope to see you all next year. No, you know what? I'm going to see you all next year because nothing is going to happen and we're going to celebrate the way we did today. Have a great day.
Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Take a step back to see the truth around you. From a distance you can tell. Like a bird on a tree, I'm just sitting here. I got time, it's clear to see. From up here, the world seems small. We can sit together. It's so beautiful, you and me. We meant to be in the great outdoors, forever free. Sometimes you need to go and take a step back to see the truth.